Thank you very much, Pete, and thank you, Simon, for having us here today, and thank you all for coming out. We think that this will be a very interesting conversation. I'm going to run through fairly quickly some of the key observations that we've made so far, but first I want to really emphasize how important it is that politics has always been about social networks. It's always been about people telling their friends about candidates, issues, just as they tell them about everything that's going on in their lives. And now we've built an infrastructure through Facebook and other sites like MySpace and YouTube even to share this in a real-time way with friends and in a terribly, terribly efficient manner. The idea that this could be used for politics shouldn't be foreign to anyone. There's still a lot of discussions in this town about will technology really leverage. I was having a great conversation on the way in with someone around whether this was the 1948 or 1952 moment, the way that television started to sweep the landscape of politics, and the guess was that there's been exponential change. So this could even be the 1960 of technology because of the way that social networking sites have really radically transformed the arena. At Facebook, we like to think of ourselves not so much as a social networking site, but as a social utility, a way to set up the connections that you have between your friends to reflect the social graph. And we build technology that works to facilitate that sharing of information, makes it terribly efficient and meaningful. And so with that, I wanted to, and with that sort of in the background the whole way, I wanted to talk about the 5 ways that we've identified and pinpointed in the piece that NPI is releasing today, how political figures can use the type of social technologies like Facebook. So first of all, we're focused on branding and the meaning of particular politicians or causes. What does your cause or candidate stand for? How do you present yourself on these sites? And obviously on sites like Facebook or MySpace, it's the profile is the basic setup. We're constantly working on enhancements to profiles and ways to interact with users. You've seen us launch in the past week Facebook Pages, which will also allow candidates and causes to have a canonical representation on Facebook, in addition to the way that we've done supporters and have had supporters and candidate pages already, and the way that they plug in to the US Politics application. You've also seen us update the US Politics application in the last week, working with a media partner, ABC News, to begin actually providing more direct interaction around political figures. I think that you'll see that expand over time in the coming weeks and months, and you'll see that as well. Obviously, a lot of activity on other sites around candidates, causes, and interaction. So the branding and the basic presentation is a core way to use these sites. For those of you who haven't kind of jumped on for your candidate or cause yet, it's actually quite easy to set up a profile, to set up a page, to really begin to get the basic social interactions happening on this service. There are ways to drive that and drive traffic over time. I'll talk a little bit at the end about the social ads that we've launched in the past week, which we think is an innovative new way that'll have a special effect on politics. But the basic functionality of these services really allows you to connect with and build the friends list and to disseminate information with an incredible rapidity, and then also to leverage the fact that other people are sharing information and use their social networks to spread the word. So on Facebook, it's the news feed, and the fact that when you join a group, when you become a supporter of a candidate, or you fan a cause, or you add an application like change.org, for instance, all of that activity gets bubbled through your social network through the news feed. So that branding opportunity is huge and therefore free. Voter registration is the second of the key ways that you can use these sites. At Facebook, we've partnered with Rock the Vote. There are a couple of folks from Rock the Vote here today. We've worked with them for more than a year around building an innovative voter registration application and thinking about targeting. How do you get to people when they change addresses, when they turn 18, when they sort of have some sort of change in their lives to get them, make sure that they register or re-register. That's of critical importance, and we think that over the course of this campaign that will drive sort of hundreds of thousands of new voter registrations. And you know, that's just what we're doing. Every organization can use the voter registration tool that Rock the Vote has built with Working Assets and some other partners. It's a very exciting way to get out there on the web, on Facebook, on MySpace, on all sorts of different sites, on YouTube, on all sorts of different sites to spread the word and, you know, get around making voter registration easy. It's always been a great challenge over time. It's a great, it's actually gotten to the point where it's simple and should be promoted through all of these social networks. You'll see on sites like Facebook, you'll see as people take those actions, as they register voters, you'll see that promoted through the various means on the site. Fundraising is another way that you can use these technologies in particular, and we've seen Change.org and Project Agape and a number of other players jump into this and begin to drive serious amounts of donations and connections to causes and the direct promotion of fundraising in these instances. So we think that this will be a hugely successful cycle for people raising money online. Obviously, I mean, you know, Joe Trippi is fond of telling the story of how if you just, you know, had everybody give $100, you could raise $100 million quite easily. We haven't quite seen that happen yet, but we have seen a great kind of rapidity of donations flowing through the online infrastructure, and perhaps by the end of this campaign, we'll see an immense amount of money raised online. And then there's the classic block and tackle of a field campaign. There's the getting people out to events and driving the ability to, you know, connect on a real-time basis, knowing where your candidate is going to be when, and getting people to that event. So we've seen people create quite a number of Facebook events. On college campuses, obviously, was initially our roots, and we saw that as we were more of a college site. Now that 3/4 of our users are out of college, we're seeing more and more people form political events and driving their friends and neighbors to this. In the 2007 campaigns, we saw quite a bit of activity, both the statewide stuff, but you know, I worked with my friend Sid Espinoza on his Palo Alto City Council campaign, of which Facebook was a prominent part, and we were able to, you know, it wasn't primarily the Facebook efforts that drove this, it was all of his other great work, but you know, Sid was the top vote getter in the campaign. We'll serve on the city council starting in December, which we're very excited about. So you've seen this on a variety of levels. Events created, you know, driving traffic around that, and you know, and that classic bit of connection to show up. The example you'll see in the paper is you know, Hillary Clinton at the College Democrats annual convention, and then there's the get out the vote effort. You know, obviously you're kind of building through the campaign. You're, you know, setting up your candidate. You're making sure your voters are registered. You're getting people out to events. You're building the excitement. You're sort of doing your classic field campaign. You're raising the money, and then end of the day, you got to get people out to vote. You know, it's all about that one poll that really matters at the end of the day. And you know, we've seen great success so far in driving people to the polls. In some of the work that we did in the 2006 campaign, we had, at the end of the last campaign, targeted advertising come in from the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee that helped drive victories in 38 of 41 targeted districts. And in the Connecticut 2nd District, we had you know, a huge voter turnout increase at the University of Connecticut, where Facebook flyers had been sort of wall to wall in the you know, days prior to the election, an over 600% voter turnout increase in a race that was settled by 83 votes. So we were very excited to see that type of direct effect, and we think that over time you'll see this in a variety of races. And obviously, you know, we were proud to play a part in helping to drive the largest youth voter turnout increase in a midterm in you know, in a generation. So we're hoping for 2008 to see a lot more. So basically, you can leverage these social connections through, you know, utilities like Facebook to drive politics in a very traditional way. It's the classic elements of a campaign. This isn't some, you know, newfangled, highfalutin technology question. It's just a way to use the people infrastructure more efficiently. And that's overall, I think, the number one thing for everyone in politics to realize is that all that's happened with the addition of technology to this mix is that, we've made it a lot easier to reach a lot of people a lot more effectively through their friends. So thank you very much, and we look forward to the discussion.